What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we are going to be going over and looking at Bt-09's meta. We kind of have the solution now, knowing what decks are there. There might be a few decks that we won't really count, but it'll still validate their meta. So let's dive into the video and talk about it, shall we? So let's break this down real quick. So out of the Bt-09 meta decks, we have Security Control, Grandis, Gaiomon, Alphamon, MetalGarurumon, Beelzestar, Magnamon Jogris, Gaiomon, Magnamon X, Gaiomon X, MetalGarurumon, Shine Greymon, Jessmon, Gallantmon, D-Brigade Dexmon.deck, which is basically, you know, Garurumon, Garurumon. Can't even pronounce it, but it's just basically the evil version of the Alphamon line, just basically full on force. Shivamon, D-Reaper, Ragnarlordmon, and Jessmon probably validate for our format because that won't be released till BT10 anyway. And sadly, I don't even think Ragnarlordmon will have many more tops anyway. We have Beelzemon, Red Shine, Shoutmon, All Force Vitramon, Blue Hybrid, Armor Rush, MetalGarurumon, Machine Dramon, Creepymon, Eosmon, and Lord Nightmon. A grand total of about 262 decks we kind of looked over. And sorry for the pie chart not looking like crazy fancy, but I mean, it's good representation to understand where decks are coming from. I mean, with this many card pool, this is huge amount of information. We could have just labeled these others, but I think even just having the small 4%ers are very important. Just kind of gets an understanding where you want to be at. You know, it's just very interesting. You got Beelzemon, Dexmon, you know, all the fun stuff, but it looks like Security Control, Grandis, Alpha, MetalGarurumon, and Beelzestar are probably going to be the decks we're going to have to beat and play around. I know Security Control players are going to come back in drones because it's going to be able to counteract Grandis, Gaiomon here because of the ability to have very powerful options that just remove threats off board. It's just very, very optimal in play style. It's just very smart. There's nothing else you can really say or do against it. It's just how this deck is going to run. We have Alphamon here, another OTK style, OTK. So when OTK is like the more dominant, prominent force in the meta, you know, Beelzestar and Security Control kind of just come in and just go like, no, not today. This is not how we play today. So basically what happens is now the control decks, when OTK are the most viable, are the ones that come in and sweep up and just keep them at bay. So I think all in all, I don't know how people are going to want to play because Beelzestar plays very differently than Security Control. So let's take a little look at Beelzestar itself. So Beelzestar Control basically plays very powerful options, has Ice Wolf Claw, actually Hollowing Wolf Breath, being able to bounce that boss Digimon back because it's all about that stack. And being able to remove it off the board state is really important. And especially since if we have 7 or less cards, we get to draw if we're at a level 5 or higher. So basically your Beelzestar is basically always going to have benefits out of this. And then going to Dexmon to control board state afterwards really does get ridiculously powerful. So it's just knowing how to play the matchup, especially because they're not going into level 7s as much. So Fly Bullet becomes very prominent, and then Happy Bullet Shower becomes very prominent with Trump Sword, stuff like that. Just very powerful options that are just hard to swing into. So it's just like, that's why this theme is going to be very important to keep an eye on. You know, you don't know what's going to happen, especially with Security Control. Security Control is kind of all over the place, like, but by what I mean by that is there's just so many viable ways of playing the deck, and it's not even funny. So let's take a look. It's basically Yellow Hybrid, but it uses Sukuyamon from BT5, which will have a very nice alternate art coming soon with our kits. But being able to minus that 3 security checks in means that it shuts down Grand Quaggas. or any other major decks. I wouldn't be surprised when Bt-10 hits that she gets replaced with the new what's her name, the Venusmon, that basically says if they have extra security checks, it can't swing or activate its when digivolving effects or anything like that. It shuts it down hard, and it's a blanket effect anyway when digivolving, so that minus DP just happens. And then security Suzanomon, you know how it goes. It's basically, its finishers are Susano and Dexmon using Kari to punish, Chaos Degrade, you know, Gaiomon with, you know, Saichimon and Gaze, just basically shuts down a lot of weird plays that they want to do, because now you can't reduce play costs, which means you can't, if you're facing against the mirror match, it does help out with like Dexmon and stuff like that, but you have like Chaos Degrade and all this fun stuff that just removes threats off boards, and that's what you want to do and extend your plays. You know, TK and Izzy, Kari's, Zoe's, TK Kari's, TK, just extending your plays and just doing crazy stuff. And, you know, this deck basically plays every hate card known to man. So it's just how that's going to look out. I mean, they're all very similar. And then you can start teching in Avenged Kidmon if you are facing a lot of Beelzestars. So it's just a very lot of different ways to play. And especially since there's really no wrong answer to how to play security control, as long as you're removing big threats and stuff off board, that when they're OTKing you, you have a fighting chance. I like Tactical Retreat anyway, because you can put Dexmon on top, and then Dexmon is more than likely going to handle whatever they throw at you. So again, it's just knowing the matchup, it really does come into importance. Let's even just take a look at Gaios and Magnamon X, and then Metalgarurumon X. We'll take a look at their deck profiles and Grandis as well, and I think that should. And then we'll grab, let me grab Alphamon as well. So let's go over Red Gaiomon real quick. Looking at it, it's just basically, with the new X antibody line, it just speeds it up, because Black War Greymon can pop Tamers, which helps out, but it also can handle other threats too a little bit. Play cost wise, but you also have Gaiomon here, who's a basically OTK enabler in himself, because he gets reboot, security +1, Digi evolution, and he has blitz. So I mean, he's just got everything going for him. So basically, security push damage with the ties, instantly just clear out a whole bunch of security. I mean, powerhouse behind it all is here. I can't even object to this deck's build. It's just very solid. And there's just, what are you going to really do against it? I think it's pretty informative just to see how this deck is going to go. It's all about getting that over that thresholds, those power base, because again, you're going to be facing high security from security control, so you just want to get rid of it all. Next, the Magna Armor Rush. Basically, it's more of a defensive style deck if you really take into why, because when Grandis is actually attacking you with Magnamon X antibody, you basically make it redirect, and since the Digimon didn't die, piercings doesn't activate, they don't take security, because you just de-digivolved yourself to self-protect and heal yourself, basically. So it just makes it really tough for them to actually win, because you just have a way of preventing them from playing. And it also helps against security control matchups, because a lot of the armor stuff takes double removal threats, so they can swing in and handle themselves a little bit more. So I could definitely see Magnamon X antibody moving up a little bit more on ours, because he is a more fan favorite. Armored Digi Evolution, I feel like, is a more fan favorite over here than it was in Japan. So I think we're going to see this, and especially since it is a best of one format over there. So remember, most of this information comes from a best of one style of play. They don't do best of threes. So doing things multiple times, 3 times over, we're going to definitely see a rise in the security control stuff. But let's take a look at the MetalGarurumon X. So basically what happens here is they use the, Digivolve on top of this Were Garurumon with self-built-in small protections, so that as long as they don't, this deleted by battle, you can trash too. So basically, if it's swings in, the option doesn't kill it, you can definitely take out a few security checks. So it has a small built-in protection like jamming, but it loses sources. And then you just go check, 1, 2, Digivolve up, swing in, go into X antibody MetalGarurumon after going off this. More security checks clear out than Blitz Omni for game. So it's just a lot of craziness. A lot of things go on with this. So, I mean, the deck OTKs like it's supposed to. And I know that this deck gets splashed with red cards. A dedicated plan. And I think it's Matt and Sora that get played in the deck is because security control is the more dominant threat. So being able to shut off the options and security really does help out. And, you know, just what it is. Grandis Quagga, I mean, what is there to really talk about? Basically uses the promo, Digiburst out the whole stack, and gains piercing, stuff like that. And it just does a lot of crazy shenanigans just to apply so much pressure. And then swings in multiple times. So it's just Green's way of going like, I'm going to control the game, you're not. So I think that's just what it is. And then we have Alphamon X antibody here. They're splashing in some red stuff just to help out, but it's OTK, another style of deck. You know, it just Oriyumon with Alphamon de-digivolving and then going into Oriyumon here. That just swings in multiple times. It's constantly Oryukin mode. It's just powerhouse after powerhouse. So I think this is really good stepping stone to understand what the meta is going to be like. And I think this is good understanding. Next time when I make this for like BT10, I'll have it more themed around where you guys can see the pictures of the decks. So guys, what did you think of this video? Let me know down in the comments and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!